Hi, my name is Ken Asselson. This is a quick walkthrough of a new experimental page which is up, and just want to show you how it works and explain a little bit about the background. The page is located on the research feature and it's marked experimental, and you just click it and go in. You have your samples here, so you could go and change samples, and what shows up here are the samples which you have marked for this particular is the symptoms you have marked for this particular sample. And whoops, didn't mark anything for that sample as symptoms, so therefore there's nothing there available. So you need to make sure first thing you do is add in your symptoms. Okay, so let's go back to where things were done well. And there we have all the characteristics. What we have listed is all the symptoms you have marked and how many people else have marked that particular symptom. For example, let's suppose we're looking at tinnitus ringing the ear. Just click that. And now it's in the list of picked items, and then down the bottom you see what else is sitting there. So if you have a second item besides tinnitus, for example, you have insomnia, add that to the list, and the number drops down, and you can go down and do something. For example, there are differences between male and female. Whether or not that's significant is hard to say. You could go and mark yourself there, which drops it down. And now at any point you can keep going more, or at this point go and do a click here. Notice we have weak here, and weak is usually the default because that usually will produce something. And then you have stronger relationships all the way to ugly strong, which once in a while will show up for a particular combination. And barely any is, if weak doesn't work, go to barely any. It means you really are stretching the data. Okay, so we click here, opens up the new window, and now we see all the bacteria which have been identified as being in common with people with the same collection of symptoms. I could go back and say, okay, that's nice. Can I have a stronger association than just that? Click here, and no luck. In this particular case, weak is the best you can do, and that's it. And now if you want to get suggestions, you click here, and over here you get your suggestions. Click here, and now you get your suggestions on how to fix that. Now we could go back to here and say, okay, first thing I want to do is undo my last actually I'm going to go back to the page and start from scratch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into it doing a slightly different way, and I'm going to still pick the same item, and I'm not going to include female intentionally. And let's take a look down below. I'm going to go for recurrence of throat with the ear. So I'm going to add just the two of them. Now we're going to see what is associated, and there we have this. In this case, probably, I think it's similar to what we just saw. We can go back and increase, and again, no luck. So we can't get any final resolutions there. We could go and add in more things. Sometimes that will result in, oh, notice we added in one more thing, and we actually had more things identified, which is the nature of the numbers. Having less doesn't necessarily mean it's a bigger list. Sometimes having less means a smaller list. And now if we do get suggestions, we are there, and we can go and see the suggestions. Some of the things I see there are familiar. We can go back and say, okay, wait a minute, can I actually make it stronger? No luck. So it's playing around back and forth, as you can see by the post which I will reference to from this page. You can get some things which are much stronger if you have the bacteria being well enough behaved and enough samples. It's the two are in combination, and what the outcome is for a particular thing is really up in the air. But that's basically it. Pick diet, make sure, number one, make sure you add your symptoms. Two, starting at one symptom, adding in more. See how many bacteria are identified, and you can try increasing the detection level and see if you can get stronger ones. Regardless, once you get any bacteria selected, you can go and get suggestions for that. So you can be more specific in terms of selecting the bacteria and have them being very much symptom centric.